Thank you guys for being here this morning. We really appreciate you guys joining us today. I want to take the time to introduce myself. My name is Marena and I am the Senior Escrow Officer for Clearview Escrow. I've been in the business for 20 years. As we go, we learn new things every day. And what I'm learning now, I'm teaching Maria. So she is great at what she does as well. Today, Maria and I would like to talk about, like she said, the escrow process and to help you when you guys go and take a listing appointment. I think it's very important to go prepared. The things that I feel that will benefit you guys to help you guys so that you guys can get it and we can give your client the best fees, because they always want to see the fees, what they're gonna net. I want to say that's kind of their first question, right?
Yeah.
What are they
most
gonna
important
net?
for
the
them.
most important, the process of when you guys open the escrow. So when you guys go take a pre-listing appointment, we recommend that you guys either contact us or your title company to get a prelim. It's very important to know what's on their title, because not all the times will they tell you, like for example, their vesting. When you guys open the escrow, the contracts are not showing all the names. We always run into surprises where, hey, there's 2 other people on title. What happened to Carlos, Yeah. And you guys are not aware that maybe, they don't tell you everything.
They don't disclose
They
all
don't disclose,
information.
maybe the person was deceased. Well, guess what? Now we need a death certificate, an affidavit of death. So there's more paperwork involved for us that we need to prepare. But if we don't know, then we can't, provide it to you guys. So I feel that pulling your title report and getting all the names who's on title so that you can show that on the contract, that's very helpful for us. Also, you guys are gonna, when you guys pull the title report, you guys are gonna see all the taxes for the current year, or if they have any default taxes. And that's also good to know, because when we're doing our estimate, it's important. We had one that they had like 18,000, 20,000 in tax, just tax default. Mm-hmm. And so if we don't show on their estimate, and then when we're closing, we finally get a report and we're showing that, then surprises come, It's like, well, why am I $20,000 short? Well, we didn't have a prelim back then. So I feel like that's important. A prelim will also show you all of their deeds of trust that's of record, any liens or judgments, child supports, solars. I don't know if, they don't disclose that their property has a solar. And the solars are also very important because the process of obtaining the release of a solar, it can take weeks sometimes. So, and the sooner we get all that information, it's better and it's easier for us to, get what we need so that we can close on time.
Yes, and I think now it's more common for properties to have solar companies. Mm-hmm. Every solar company is different. One will, oh yeah, here's the information and just let us know when you're going to close escrow and we'll transition. That simple. And then where another company is like, no, we don't deal with third parties. So the homeowner has to contact us, which I know sometimes there's agents that like to, help their client walk with them, and other agents are like, no, you do it, you're the owner, you feel like. So sometimes we have to let our owners know, like, it's important that you contact them. They won't give us any information, they won't disclose anything to us. Even if you give us authorization, they won't. There are some companies that will not do that. Yeah. So that's important. And they want to speak with the future homeowner. So if you're representing a buyer that's buying a property with solar, you have to let them know, be ready. They're going to want to run your credit too. I know you ran your credit for a loan. If you're buying solar, they're going to want to run your credit too. So don't be surprised. Sometimes they get offended and they're like, what, again? And like, that's the process. So that's good to know, like to advise them. And if they're not informed on that, it kind of delays our process. Mm-hmm. So it's good to know these things ahead of time and let them know in advance. That way we can get going. And this is trial and error for us. We've learned this, the hard way. Like, what? Like, we have to do this now, and we're closing in 3 days, and something comes up. So this is why it's super important to get as much information as you can at the beginning.
Correct. Another thing that I don't notice a lot of the times, it's HOA information. So sometimes it won't reflect, so we don't know who that company is. So it's also important to ask your client if there's an HOA and obtain the information up front, because that's another thing that will help us, to get ahead of the game, to get it ordered, because those requests will always take 7 to 10 days, right?
Oh yeah, they take a while, and they want some HOAs. They're like, no, we need this signed, and we need this, and then once that's provided, or we need a upfront fee.
Yes.
Some of them charge upfront fees, and we don't send checks because we don't have that money in escrow. We're not holding those funds, so it has to be paid by the seller, and you've got to prepare your seller. We've had some sellers that are like, no, I'm not paying that upfront fee. If they want to buy my property, they can pay it themselves. It's like, what?
That was before. Right now, they're begging us.
True. But I did want to point out, I know Marina talked about the prelim, the importance, even if you're just wanting the net proceeds, like what's it going to cost my seller to, and how much is he or she going to get to sell the property. The importance of ordering a prelim is because property profiles don't provide all the information.
No, right.
And we're going to give you an example. We thought it was hilarious. Just last week, we opened up a new escrow, and we had multiple buyers, multiple sellers, and
4 or 5
related to the agent. And we're like, okay. And we order the preliminary report. And it's like, there's 2 more sellers. On top of the multiple sellers they have, there's 2 more. And he said, Mr. Agent, you don't have them signing the contract. Are they deceased? Did something happen? And he's like, what? Well, I'm related. First, he's related to the client, and he didn't know that there were more owners. And second, he said, well, the property profile didn't have their names on it. And it's like, but the preliminary report did.
Right.
So you need to talk to your clients and get that information. So even if you're related to the clients, they're not going to disclose everything. Sometimes they forget. They bought the property all together, a bunch of them, and it's like, oh, which relative, was part of this? And they're not involved. So that's why prelims are very important, and they do supersede property profiles. So don't 100% rely on the property profile. Preliminary report is very important.
Another thing that it really helps possibly to take when you go get your listing appointment. I don't know if do you guys just do it on the phone, or do you guys do it old school where you guys go to their house? Can you guys teach me a little bit about that? Because I want to say that
To take the listing appointment?
when you guys take it in person. Okay, so great. So then one thing a tip for me is to take an SI with you and have them complete we have all the forms there, to take an SI with you, because that up front, when you guys open it and send it to title, oh my gosh, it's just gonna help to know if
Saves a
there's
lot of headaches.
a lot of headaches, last minute hiccups, oh my gosh, we could just send it to title, clear title from the get-go.
Yes.
And it's honestly, that's gonna save a lot of headaches, like she said.
There are times, we've had clients that child support or alimony showed up
They didn't
with
even
the
know
same
us.
name, and it's like, wait, that's not me. And that's why we need the SI. We'll clear your name, awesome. But there's also been times where a child support did come up,
Right.
and they knew about it but didn't disclose it, and they thought they could get away with it, and they canceled the escrow. They're like, well, I'm not selling my property because I'm not paying that child support. He does, it's like, so
Everything freezes,
everything froze. So that, like you said, it saves a lot of headaches. Running their SIs is
I've came across with like liens back in, there was a Heroes and they had another one through the city. I guess it was like the Hero and then there's another through the city or county in Riverside.
County, yeah.
So they didn't know, and that was also like, hey, come up with this money, we need to deduct from your proceeds.
Right.
So, and they're not happy,
Those
so
pop up.
you
Yeah.
live and you learn.
They're not aware of
Because
it.
people told them that it was free.
Right.
Exactly.
And
It's such
they
a
didn't
scam.
tell them that it was against the property that had
It's with the, it goes with their property taxes, so they don't have to worry about it. It'll be paid with that. But in the end, they have to. If they're selling it, they have to pay it. They have to pay it off.
So
A lot of people think that way. My business, they think that's free money, they don't pay that.
right,
Yeah.
no. So, yeah, so, you know, when you guys are taking your listing appointment, you know, get a prelim up front. If you guys don't know of a title company, you guys can always reach out to us and we'll get it for you guys. Take an SI, you know, I say that's always very, very important. And then, of course, you guys want to show them what they're gonna net, a rough estimate. You always say it's a rough
It's a rough,
estimate
yeah.
because then, you know, that's what they're gonna expect at the end. So, we're always sending these net sheet forms, which help us when we're preparing it. It's important to know the property address because we can pull the tax roll and make sure that all your taxes are prorated in the estimate. Seller's full name, of course, you always want to show the estimate that's, you know, that's their property and their name. A close of escrow date, that's also important. You know, typically I try to estimate 30 days, but it's from the day that I'm giving you the estimate. I mean, technically we don't know yet when we're closing. And I like to have a rough estimate closing date because that gives me the prorations. I can prorate the taxes there. Sales price, of course, is important. Commission, how much are you guys are charging? Listing and selling. Because sometimes we'll get, oh, it's 4%. Well, is it 3 and 2, or you know what I mean, like 2 and 2, or you know, we don't know. So that'd be nice to know. If there's any seller's credit closing cost, that's a really must. Any credits that the sellers are giving, you know, obviously it's a deduction from the estimate, so that's important. Any existing mortgage loans, liens that they might make you aware of. Sometimes they have a second as well, so that'd be nice to know. Are they paying for termite, home warranty? Again, if there's an HOA, how much are their monthly dues? You know, it varies from HOA to HOA. Sometimes I've seen as low as $35 or $90 and as high as 300 and something. So that's important. Are they paying for the TCG? That's always also kind of like, who's paying for TCG? Is the agent paying out of their commission, or is the seller is gonna agree to pay for it? That's also good for us to know. And again, you know, if at that point you guys know in regards to septic, any repairs, any solars, liens, judgments, the most that you guys can provide us, when you guys are requesting your seller's estimate, the better for us and for your client, of course, so that we can have a better figure for them.
Yes, I think too, the reason this is so specific, this is just a seller net sheet. This isn't
Right.
even like, you know, what is on the contract. But I cannot tell you how many times we've sat with clients and we've signed with them, and then they see the estimate and they're like, my agent didn't tell me that that's how much money it was gonna cost me. And we're like, I mean, we can't tell them anything. We're a third party, you know, we're just responsible to give them this information. But they're like, I didn't know that that's how much that was gonna cost me. I didn't know how much, you know. So it's not enough just to say, oh, this is how much the purchase price is gonna be, and this is how much they owe for their mortgage. And yeah, let's say for now that that's my commission. And let me give you a seller's estimate, because they'll remember what they got, the most money that they're gonna get. That's what they're gonna remember. They're like, well, he said I was getting this. So I think this is more for you so that they trust, like, okay, he's showing me details. I know sometimes it could be scary and, you know, well, I don't want them to feel like
Or we get like, we just want a net
overcharging.
sheet. We understand that, but it's also good, you know, the most information you get for us, or you get from your seller and you give it to us, the the
More
better
accurate,
for-
yeah.
Yeah, more accurate and better for them at the end, you know? When we also have our sales open order form, it's also very, very detailed. Obviously, it helps us. I know that it's easy for you guys sometimes to just, send us the contract fully executed. But there's more details on our escrow open order form, so it's always nice to get it, I know it's an extra step for you guys to complete it for us and also scan it and send it, but it'd be very, very helpful for us. It just makes it easier. So that's that. We have our refi and sell open order forms there. We also have our fee schedule. We get a lot of calls of, hey, how much are your guys' escrow fees? Well, we have everything broken down here for you guys. It's let's see, we have a standard sell fee rate. It's $3 per thousand. So you're gonna do the sales price times 3, and then you're gonna add a $300 fee, and you should get your escrow.
$3 per thousand plus $300.
Plus a $300 base, correct. And then we have our miscellaneous fees, which for a sale, it's a $250 dog prep fee. That's pretty much a standard fee. FedEx, you'll see it on the estimate, but unless we use the FedEx label, we don't charge it. If we use it, we charge the client. And sometimes it's $11, $14, $30, but we estimate a $75 fee because we don't know.
We just had an escrow a couple months ago with 8 sellers in all different states.
Jesus Christ.
So we had to FedEx.
So if you don't
everywhere.
use FedEx, you don't charge for that?
Right.
She'll
And that
I'll
should be
deduct.
with every escrow company?
With every escrow
Well,
company.
we're speaking
Yeah,
for us.
Because they usually charge.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They
regardless.
It doesn't
charge
matter
the mess-
regardless
yeah,
if you use it,
They
Yeah.
charge.
which I don't believe it's okay.
Yeah, what I really appreciate about
sometimes-
Marena,
I do for myself, I do believe.
Mario, what I really appreciate about Marena is that she really looks out for your client. She looks out for your client and she
I'm
looks
only
out for
gonna
Clearview
charge what-
Escrow. And it's like, hey, if that's not what they used, why are we charging that service? It's not necessary.
I
So
have,
she'll
I
deduct.
have seen as well that they charge for wiring when sometimes they give a check.
Correct.
Yeah,
Right.
so that you
And
have
it's
to
like less
question.
deducted,
That
yeah.
would, me personally, I would question it, but yeah, we have a $60 wire fee, for buyer and seller. However, if you're, like you just mentioned, if the seller wants a check, then the charge would only be $30. Why? Because we're receiving the proceeds from title, which is their proceeds, so that I can, refund
Right.
them. But I won't charge for the wire going out, obviously, because it was a check. So those are things that, I think, trust me, even with the lenders, I've gotten into, well, why are you guys charging this? Like, I'm
Yeah.
like very about the fees. Like, I feel like that's important.
There's some,
The most that your clients can get at closing, I'm sure they'll be very, very happy. And they always like to see that, even if it's a small refund, they always like to see that. So I think that's important.
Thank you.
And then that's pretty much, what I wanted to talk to you guys about. I feel like, it's very important when you're taking your listing appointment. We're always here. If you guys have any questions, any concerns, you guys are more welcome to call us or walk in. We're here to help you guys and your clients, so, and provide the best customer service. That's what we're here for.
How, if you guys see like a lien from, on title from the county, whichever county, and of course they take forever, how soon do you guys act upon that, or is that something that you guys have to wait for for an agent to say something?
No,
we have
immediately.
immediately. It has to be paid off.
Yeah.
It has to be paid off. So it's a necessary thing. As soon as we get mortgage information
Yeah.
and authorization some banks require a signed authorization. We order it immediately because we know it can take 7 to 10 business days.
Yeah.
We know it takes long. So it's not something we wait till, escrow closes on the 30th. I'll wait till the 27th. Like, no.
yeah.
As soon as we open and as soon as I get authorization, that's why it's super important to turn in their escrow documents. And that's what I do. As the junior escrow officer, I start the processing. As soon as we get the deposit, we all together the escrow packages for the buyer, for the seller, for the lender, and send them out, because the sooner I send them out, the sooner I get back the information, and I'm allowed to start ordering demands. Some counties do not require authorization from the homeowner, but there are some, like an attorney. If there's a collection, he wants an authorization. He's like, I need this. So it just depends, but really it's, as soon as I'm given back the package, I can order it. If I don't need authorization, I order it immediately, once the deposit is in. You know, because if there's no deposit, like we've had a couple that have canceled, and if I started working on it, I could have been working on another file. So once the deposit is in, we're moving, and part of us is also waiting for the packages to be returned. And I did make a list. This is a sample of a letterhead, of a cover letter, I'm sorry, to the buyer and seller. I believe it's at the end of the table, of the list of items that are sent to them, what they're required to return, what's for their records, because those are items that I'm going to need, you know, for their taxes, for their liens, you know, for the assessor, all those things.
And again, when there's a lien or judgment on the title, and we already have that SI up front, so if we get the title and Maria sees a lien, or myself, we'll order a copy of that item, which is the recorded document. And there we can see, okay, it's, I don't know, Jose Sanchez, right? It's a common name, Jose. And we'll see, sometimes we'll see the last 4 digits of the social, and it's like, well, this is not matching, you know, this is what they provided us, it's not matching. So then immediately, we'll either email or get on the phone with title, hey, you know, we noticed there's a lien on title, but it's not matching our social, can you please clear this item? And that's how we're like, okay, immediately. Or let's say it's a match, now we need to get on it and go ahead and reach out to the company to clear it as soon as we can, because we do know that those can take up to 15 days.
Yeah, I have an escrow that's been stuck now for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Because that lien, since day one, it was there. It was a code enforcement, you know, abatement lien. And escrow didn't do anything. So then now the listing agent had to go to the county. That's why I'm asking, I'm like, how soon?
When you get a prelim, we review it,
Yeah.
so it should be something upfront.
And
as
when
soon
I
as we get a prelim.
send the package, I let you know there's a package, there's a prelim, and in the prelim, if there are liens, I will put, please note, there is a tax lien, or there is a child support, and that will need to get paid off. That SI is very important. If you hadn't turned it in already, that SI is very important, because we need to confirm if it's even the client's.
Yeah.
And so we can start ordering the demands. So it's important to take care of right away. We don't need your go-ahead for that. We know it has to be paid
So
off.
it's just a bad escrow
Yes.
situation.
We don't like to talk about other people.
Situation.
But that's why
Okay.
we're teaching you
Yeah.
what we know
Yeah.
and what you guys, you know, should know
Yeah.
when it comes to, you know,
Yeah.
dealing with our escrow.
That was their job.
Yeah, and that's why it's good, like team, you know, work as a team, you know, we're here to help each other out and make the transaction as smooth as possible for your client. You know, it's already stressful as it is for them to know that they have to sell, they have to move out, or even when you're buying, you know, going through the lender process and all that, it's just a stressful transaction, you know, overall. But we're here to make it as smooth as possible for you guys. As long as we obtain the information needed, we can
And
work
that's
with it.
why it's important to, I also send out reminders, like if your client, your seller is paying for termite, if there's reports, if home warranties, and I haven't received the invoice, I need those items so they could be paid at close of escrow. I will also send reminders like, hey, you know, this is still outstanding, we're gonna need it, because if not, we're going to have to hold funds per contract. It says they are providing clearance, they are paying for the home warranty. So those are things I will send reminders, you know. just
Yeah,
walk
Maria
through
is
the
good with
process.
sending updates when it comes to the escrow process and the items missing in our file, so she's really
And
good with
then,
the
another
updates.
question, as a buyer's agent, you know how sometimes they always wanna reserve seller's choice of services.
Mhm.
As a buyer's agent, if obviously, we wanna bring the file over to Clearview, and if we wanted to kinda like put on there, if seller chooses, Clearview Escrow, $200, escrow fee, is that something that, we can work with, to bring the files over and then, deduct it from the agent's commission, or is that just something that,
I'm sure Chris wouldn't wanna,
Mhm.
lose an escrow
Yeah.
over that. I'm sure there's something we can work out.
Okay.
I don't know if for every transaction, obviously, because then, we're all losing money.
Yeah.
But I'm sure he's willing to work with,
No,
with
like
you
from the
guys.
buyer's commission, but from the buyer's agent's commission, like,
Oh,
I
yeah.
bring you the escrow and I don't mind, hey, you guys can
Oh,
deduct
yeah,
$200.
if you wanna do that for your
from
buyer.
my commission.
Yeah.
You know what
Yeah.
I mean?
Yes,
Most
we've had
definitely.
agents
Okay.
that have covered their home warranty. They're
Okay.
like,
Yeah.
that's my gift. It's almost like they're saying, that's my gift to you.
Okay.
Buyer, I'm gonna give to you the home warranty.
Yeah, you
and I'll
just send
cover
us an addendum or,
Right. Or
an
include it in the
email,
contract.
Okay.
And then, include in your
If it's
contract,
in
an
the contract, it's
addendum,
covered.
an email,
Okay.
something so where we can, when we prepare our escrow instructions, it's there. Or we
Okay.
can reflect it in an amendment.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Okay.
everything's clear and we all know what's going on.
Yeah.
But yeah, you most definitely you
Absolutely.
can. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
And we'll
Anything's
show the
negotiable.
breakdown on your commission instructions.
Yeah, not from you guys, but from like, cause I wanna start pulling, like escrows over this way, just because,
Yeah.
as a buyer's agent.
Mhm.
Because I'm seeing that a lot of escrows, they're just not, a lot of them are not doing their job, so maybe if,
Yeah.
now that it's a buyer's market, it's like we have a little bit more control of, hey, let's
Yes.
move, because I have a couple escrows that are stuck because of
Things that they
escrow
overlook.
companies are, so that's the only reason that I'd rather give a credit to the seller, for my commission.
Oh, like your incentive so that.
Like,
they can move
hey,
their
I don't want you to
escrow.
use your escrow, I want you to use our
My
escrow.
escrow.
Right.
You know what I mean?
That's
So
Right.
right.
Yeah, that's very smart.
Thank you, I appreciate that.
Okay.
Very smart.
Anything else, Maria, in regards to your, as far as the escrow processing on your end? Or
Yes.
did you cover everything?
For me, once, like I mentioned, once we receive the deposit, I make sure that we start putting all the packages together according to the contract, whatever's on the contract. I always make sure to tell the clients they can come in and sign with us. Or, if the agents, I know there's some agents, there's always this one agent that sends out this long email and he makes sure to let me know, I am old school. I want you to send me the package because I want to sign with my client. I do not do anything electronically. Okay, so I know every agent is different.
Yes.
I know some agents are like, escrow, you take care of it. That's your thing, you do
Yeah,
it.
you call them,
And
you
we're-
email them.
And we're fine with that. I know we are working, and you're recording this, right, Monica?
Mm-hmm.
I know that Mr. Chris Munive is working on DocuSigns to bring that into Clearview Escrow. Right now, we do not have electronic signatures, but he is working on that coming to the future because it is much more convenient for our clients. And so we want to be able to provide,
That
much
service.
more that service, yes, for them and bring more people in. But our doors are always open for them to sign here. We just make appointments. Marena is a notary, so we have an in-house notary. So we're trying to provide that for them. But I'm the one that definitely contacts, to order liens. I contact the counties, the banks, HOAs, the solars. And then I just make sure we get invoices for termite, home warranties, and septics. I know we have one contract right now that has like a percolation test for the water. I need the invoice for that, or to show that it didn't get paid, because if it's in the contract, it's our responsibility to make sure it's paid. Even if if it's free, I need something telling me it was free. When we get demands, they'll tell me, this is a zero demand. I know it's showing on title, it just has to record, but I need something saying it's a zero demand. That way later, after we close escrow, the client is not saying, hey, Clearview, why is the county charging me $25 for something I thought was paid off. And it's like, so when they send us demands, they send us the actual amount that they are due. So that's our
So
responsibility.
just so you guys know, if you guys don't send your invoices to Maria and that file gets to me, Maria gets yelled at. Just kidding. What happened here, Maria?
I don't want that to happen to me.
So please.
So yeah, well, look at that face. You don't want to get
Submit
yelled
our
at.
paperwork.
But yeah, that's super important. So for me as a junior processor, from the just so you know a little bit of my
Escrow.
background.
Escrow officer.
Oh, did I say
Junior.
junior escrow officer? It's because I have processing in my head now. As a junior escrow officer, just so you know a little bit of my background, I actually started working in real estate in 2003. And I used to be an agent, so I have the mentality of an agent and how my clients would want to be taken care of. That's already on my mind, in my heart. The other thing is, my husband and I also, for a time, used to work in the ministry. My husband was a minister and we worked in our church. So my mentality is the golden rule: treat others as you would want to be treated. And my number one rule is customer service. I am a huge believer in respecting you as the agent and respecting your clients. That is, I would love that to grow as the face of Clearview Escrow, that we are taking care of our clients. Now, we are put sometimes in positions where things are expected. In the last 2 years, oh my gosh, the business was
that was
so
horrible
crazy.
for everybody.
It was crazy, and we were just drowning in so many files and escrows, and yes, we got a lot of business, but everything was expected, right? We live in a world where everything's expected right that minute, fast, and it took time. Counties took time, banks took time, and so I just wanted you to understand where I come from is your client comes first, and we want to take care of them, and that's why I appreciate Marena, even financially, not your client getting every penny that they are due, and not being overcharged, but we definitely take care of them. So if you ever have an issue, I would please call. I'm more than happy to talk and answer any questions, and but I make sure to contact the counties, and we're in there. We're working with them and getting those liens, and especially your clients. I don't mind at all having your clients come in and sit with them and do that. But like I said, we're looking forward to the electronic signatures as well. Not because I don't want to see their faces, but I know it's convenient for them.
Yeah.
And your clients
everybody
are
works,
more
so.
than they're clients that are paying for the service, so they are more than welcome to call us as well. They should not be afraid to call us and have questions. So if you can't answer for them any questions, please send them to us. We do not mind at all. That's our job. That's our responsibility. So I wanted to make sure that you are aware of that.
So this always comes up, that my lender, they need, I think it's some paperwork in
The
order for
funding?
the funding money.
Uh-huh.
So I guess for her to order her documents, her loan docs or something like that. What is that exactly, that process?
That process, prior to loan docs, so the lender always will request like a CPL. Sometimes they want to see the insurance with the vesting already on there. So on the buyer side too, it's also very important to get the vesting from your buyer. Are they married? Are they single? Because all that information goes on the CPL, proposed insured, on the evidence of insurance. So all those are requirements that your lender needs prior to releasing docs.
Okay.
And it's important
To order docs, I think.
To order docs,
To order
correct.
docs, okay.
Right. And it's important for us as escrow, whatever we do, it's because it was instructed to us in writing
Right.
by the buyer and seller.
Okay.
So you can call and say, Maria, oh, by the way, my buyer's vesting is single woman. And I'm like, okay, where's the
Where's the
worksheet? She
document?
needs to
Yes.
fill that out. And it turns out she's not a single woman. She's an unmarried woman. She's divorced. So per vesting, in real estate world, she is an unmarried woman.
Right.
So, and that's how she has to be, because then she signs her SI, and her SI says she was divorced, and this is the name of her, and I'm like,
Nobody.
she's not a
They
single
didn't tell
woman,
us that.
We don't care. I mean, we don't want to know your personal business, but this is important.
But it's important to know.
So in
give
order
out.
for you to release that, then you need to have these documents back, whatever's
Correct.
on here,
That's
from
why
the
that's
buyer and the
important.
seller. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Whatever's on that list, it's important for us to get
Okay.
it back in return, fully completed. Because if there's one thing missing, for example, on the seller's packages, there's a lot of tax forms. And those can be confusing for the
Yes.
sellers. We're like, well, we're gonna withhold. What do you mean you're taking my money?
Right.
Well, this is what you're reporting to me. That's when I have to make that phone call, and
Yeah.
they don't like to hear it. Well, no, that I didn't understand the questions. Okay, well, let's go over it. I cannot answer that for them because I'm not a CPA, but I can guide them. And I pretty much will tell them, well, speak to your CPA because
Yeah.
I don't know how you file your tax returns or how you've been reporting that. But I mean, at the end of the day, if they live at the property, then, they're exempt from that 3 1/3 withhold,
3 1/3.
which that's what sometimes the sellers get scared with that. They don't want to pay, but it is what it is.
Lenders
You can't
also
change that.
ask when they see, because they see the preliminary report as well. They're also going to ask, has that lien been taken care of for the seller? Did they pay that child support? They want to know. Is it cleared? Because it's not going to go on my buyer's, name.
Yeah.
So we need to take care of that before we close escrow. Or
Okay.
there's no funding, there's no loan docs, none of that. So that's why that's important too, to clear those items, because there are some lenders that are like, we want to see the clearance. We want to make sure that's clear,
And sometimes, of course, it's an internal condition with the lender that we have no control of. They're just waiting to clear some items, so we're just waiting on them. The last that we do is balance the CD with them. Once you know that CD is balanced, then pretty much they have 3 days to release off to us.
I did want to share something, the closing portion. I think a lot of you know, he's a veteran in real estate world, but I think the majority of you know, but we do not say when we record. I think a lot of people always ask us, so when do you think we're going to record? When do you think we're going to close? Do you think we're going to, so you think we're going to close tomorrow?
Don't.
And it's like,
Don't.
don't ask us. This is up to the county. This is once everything is turned in, it's on the county. There have been some counties, I know during COVID season, they would they would record at 7 p.m. at night, and we were not aware, so we wouldn't find out till the next morning. So that's on the county, and we have to wait on, they are the ones, title companies let us know when the county lets them know it's recorded. So I know a lot of times it's like, have we recorded? And then we'll have clients ask us, when can I pick up my keys? We don't have that information. Please, talk to your agent. That's not something we organize. We are not responsible for that. So I wanted to share that because it's so funny how somebody has to know. So
Yeah.
Well, you guys submit the paperwork. Yeah, you guys tell us.
yes.
Okay.
But is there any suggestions that you would like to give us? I would definitely, as
Maybe
an
an
agent.
experience with other companies that,
No, I just look forward for the electronic because I did work with the company that had the and then
Can
they
you
had
say that to the camera?
they had actually like a portal where you can log in and you
Right.
can see every step who did
what?
on the steps. Oh, well, so and so signed already certain document.
So the DocuSign. Yes,
Yeah.
The DocuSign
It
is
was like a
important.
program. Yeah, so
Well,
that's neat.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's something that will come up soon.
Yeah,
It's
I think
been talked about already.
definitely.
We're looking into it.
It goes without saying, but definitely the only original form we need is the grant deed. The anything that needs to be notarized. I shouldn't just say the grant deed, but anything that needs to be notarized. And if you haven't used our escrow in a while, we did change something, and it is the net proceeds, the instructions for net proceeds. That's when we ask the seller, how would you like your proceeds? How would you like to receive them? A check, we pick them up, I'm sending so-and-so, and they sign it, or a wire. Now, if they request a wire, they have to sign before a notary, because there has been so much wire fraud that we want to protect them. And so their instruction to letting us know they're going to have their funds wired, then we want it to be notarized. We have also had clients where they want the funds wired to an account that's not even under their name.
Oh, yeah.
It may be under their parents' name. And we know why they did that, but you know, it might be under their parents and like, no, just, I'm like, that's not your name. Like, no, that's my mom's account. It's like, well, if we need
Yeah, and
this
then
to be
I
authorized.
take an extra step of preparing an amendment to make sure that, yes, indeed, that, you know, the seller wants that, you know, to be sent to that account. It's like a form of more protection, yeah.
In that step,
take
would
the
you
extra-
be able to notarize you can notarize that document?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah, if they come
Definitely.
here, they can notice.
Okay.
Yeah, that won't be a problem. That's just to protect them because, yeah, we had, we just recently, about 2 months ago, 3 months, in the summer, we had one of our clients, he got an email that looked like my email, but it wasn't mine, saying that they needed to wire some funds, some more funds,
It's like-
and he did.
They'll
I
hack the
remember that
emails.
time.
Was it yours?
No, it wasn't
Oh.
mine, but a year ago.
Yeah, and it was like, what? And like, that's not even our email, and no. And that's why our instructions
Jesus
for
Christ,
wiring
they get
says
into
you
it.
have to call us. There are
Yeah.
some agents that say, oh, can you call my client and tell them, you know, give them instruction on how to wire? And I said, no.
No.
I can be anybody off the street. Tell, okay, Martin, this
Well,
is how you wire to
the-
me.
The buyer knew that at the bank, she had to call, but they didn't call. So they got the money back.
Yes, they did.
Yeah,
They got
it's
their
a
money back.
huge ability. I mean, for me as an escrow officer to wire, you know, X
I
amount
know
of
that's
dollars.
always been my
Yeah.
iffy too, like worry,
Yeah,
like,
so that's why it's like, okay, and I will make that last phone call even when
They
when
can-
they
we
notarize.
confirm.
I always like to call again and confirm that, hey, you know, you signed this form, you know, if you didn't sign it with me, you signed this form in front of a notary, and can you please provide me your information? I always like second like that.
And it's good that we do that because so far in the last 2 years, I've only seen one, but there was one client, he forgot a digit because he's the one that wrote it down and he missed a digit. And so we were like, oh, no, where's the, you know?
Yeah,
So
it
it was
makes a
good.
difference.
Yeah, confirming. He wouldn't have gotten his hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Yes.
His net proceeds, so that's important.
But
Let's see
thank you,
what
everyone.
I
You guys are angels. Thank you.
Thank you guys.